Hey there, guys. So, yesterday I competed in a powerlifting competition. Had a great day. All the hard work in the off season and the comp prep really paid off. So, it came together perfectly. I wasn't too surprised, but because I'd put in all the hard work, done my programming, everything was adding up. The only thing I was a little bit nervous was my lower back and how long it took to recover from the heavy deadlift session I did leading into this comp prep. So by the time comp day rolled around, it had almost been 4 weeks since I'd squatted anything significant. And that was simply because in training I worked up to the 350 kilos. It moved well, but after hitting that lift, my lower back was just spent for the rest of the week. And then, the week after, I just took it as a deload week. And then from there, the next week, I did heavy deadlifts, hit the 300 in the gym, which I was, really, really happy about because it was a big, PR by 10 kilos. And then my lower back was cooked for the rest of the week. And then it meant, the week leading into competition, I hadn't squatted. The only squats I had done were just like light front squats at 70 kilos. So my deload week on the Wednesday, I was forced to, hit one squat, and I just did it without belt or wraps and just did that at 250 kilos. Moved well, but I could still feel the DOMs in my lower back. So in the back of my mind, when I woke up on comp day, it's like if my lower back's still cooked, I'm in trouble. But if my lower back has completely healed, then all the hard work, all the prepping, it'll go off perfectly. And when I first started warming up, as soon as I did my first warm-up, I knew instantly, yes, my lower back's healed, it's recovered well, I'm not going to have any issues whatsoever. And from that moment on, it was sort of like, this is awesome, it's great. Continued to warm up, kept going and going. When I did my last warm-up, I hit 300 kilos and it just moved so well. And from, basically that point, it's game is set. Did my opener at 332.5 kilos and, really, really easy lift. And then that gave me confidence for the, second attempt, which was 365 kilos. And I only planned on doing 2 attempts anyway. So, the 332.5 was just an easy opener. Make sure I get it. My name's on the board. I'm not going to risk, bombing out of the powerlifting competition. And if you do your last warm-up on the platform, you're always going to be set. And then I went for my 365 kilos, and the second I stood up and under it, I knew that, I had this lift. And that put me in a really, really good headspace. And as a result, the lift was really quite easy. Still had a few kilos left in it. But, better to be safe than sorry. So I was very, very happy with that lift. And that put me in a very good position to start with the bench press. Bench press, this comp prep hadn't been perfect, and that was simply due to the fact that I was working my squats and my body was just going to be under a cloud of fatigue. So in the prior, competition block where I was just, focusing on bench press in the off season, because we were in lockdown, there was nothing to do. So it's like, I'm going to bring up my bench because that's going to help my 3 lift total overall. And that was the case, today, hit a new 3 lift PR on the bench by 10 kilos. So I was really happy with that. And, as I was saying, the whole of this comp prep bench was just under a shadow of fatigue. So none of the sessions moved as great as the off season, but that didn't matter. It was expected, because if your nervous system is taxed and your lower back's taxed, the rest of your lifts aren't going to be, 100%. It's the way how your body works. So having that in mind, it was like, okay, I've done my heavy squats. I'm going to see how bench press moves. So I just opened at 210 kilos because I know I'll get it. And the other big thing is the same mentality as the squats. I just, do my last warm up on the platform, because you never know how long the judge is going to hold you for pauses or things like that. You also don't know how much squats will have taken out of you either. So I leave nothing to chance, and that's basically my game plan in that regards. I wanted to hit the 230 kilos on the bench press, and I did that. So warm-ups were moving great. The 170 and the 190 being my last warm-ups off the platform, they moved, really well. That gave me a lot of confidence after squats. And then when I got under the 210 kilos, and then, bringing the bar down, stabilizing it nice and quick, things like that, and just getting clean presses in, gave me, basically the mindset that, okay, my 900 really is there. I just need to hit my next attempt at the 220, because for me mentally it's like, okay, if I get this 220, even if I do miss my third bench, I could probably go for a 315 deadlift, because that would give me my 900 total as well, and that was always in the back of my mind. So when I actually hit this 220 and it moved really well, it's like, okay, the 230 is there. And yeah, I just, wasn't going to muck around. Others sort of suggest maybe go 225. It's like, nah, stuff it, I'd rather go for the 230, because if I miss the 225, it's going to be quite demoralizing versus, if I only just miss 230, it's sort of better for me mentally. It may not look like that on paper, but that's just how I work. So, yeah, the 230 almost moved better than the 220. I was really happy with how it moved, and that set me in a really good position then for the deadlifts. By the time, it was, time to deadlift, the warm-ups, saved heaps of energy because I was still quite warm from squats. There wasn't, heaps of flights for this competition. There was only 2 flights, so it meant I could sort of cruise off adrenaline as well. I didn't eat for the entire day just because food on comp day for me doesn't work. So I just drank heaps and heaps of Powerades and just get all the quick carbs in that way. And I found that's an approach for me that works really quite well. From the first warm-up on the deadlift, even though it was only 70 kilos, having the mobility in my lower back and it's still feeling great, just sort of capped it off for me. It's like, this is great. So I did that, then I went 120. Obviously, it's going to move well. Then I went, 150, moved really well. 170, easy. Did 200, and then I did that for 2 singles. So I just did 200, waited a few minutes, did 200 again. And that was sort of just one to keep me warm while I'm waiting. I did them without a belt. Then my last warm-up was 240 kilos. Used the belt for that one. Just set up and, pulled it off the ground really fast. And, there was absolutely no pain or no discomfort, no tightness in my lower back whatsoever. So, I was absolutely stoked, and it was sort of the fastest 240 had ever moved anyway. So then, I went onto the platform. Opener was 275 kilos, and I only planned on, doing 2 attempts for deadlifts, go for the 275. That's going to secure me a new PR total of 870. Previously, my best total was 840. So it's like, regardless of what happens, I'm going to hit a 30 kilo PR on my total. Was happy with that, and just with how the 275 moved, it's like, yep, 305, that's going to be my second and final attempt. Stick to the game plan, and I knew I was going to get it. So gripped the bar, had no hesitation or doubt in the back of my mind, and pulled it up off the ground, and I was just so happy with how it moved. And that gave me my 900 kilo total. So it was an absolutely great day for me, and really happy with it. So with that 900 kilo total, I got the total that I wanted and had been chasing for a very long time. That also gave me an invite to Warriors, which is the 115 kilo class that's going to, be there at Big Dog. So basically made the Olympics of my sport. Really looking forward to taking the platform. Could be a little while due to restrictions and international, travel and the rest of it. But if Yuri Belkin competes and some of those other big names in those sort of like 110 and so lifters, 110 kilo class lifters, should I say. I'll be taking, the platform literally with the best lifters in the world, and then the flight after me, the super heavyweights, they're going to be there. Hopefully, Andrei Malachev, he comes back again and competes. So there'll be a lot of really big names at this competition. So really fortunate to have just qualified. I don't really care what I place. I've just sort of made it in the sport. 900 kilos is an absolute, huge milestone. 910 kilos is the old 2,000 pound mark. So, another comp prep and well and truly go over that. I think if I had have gone for 375 on squats, I would have got the 910. But the goal for the day was just total the 900. And the other reason why I kept a little bit in the tank as well is because I'm expecting a little boy in April, so I really can't afford to have any injuries or setbacks of any kind, because looking after a newborn is going to be quite tiresome, and I don't really want to be in the position of being injured and having additional responsibilities. So it's play it smart, play it safe, still put the total together that I need, and I have heaps of time to prep. So from now, I'm probably going to have a bit of a deload, definitely for this week, and then I'm going to focus on a little bit of fitness, lose some body fat, get fitter, healthier, and leaner, and that's just going to help so much more with recovery. And I've sort of always done that after a competition prep anyway, because it just sets you for your next one. And regardless of what happens, your body's healthier and in better nick. And it just allows you to respond to your next comp prep so much better. So that's pretty much it from me. Had, an absolute great day. Had heaps of support from my family and friends, and that always makes a massive difference. And my two training partners, Rohan and Lachlan, as well as, my wonderful future wife, Tracy, she's always amazing. So really lucky to have the support network that I do. And if you guys haven't already, hit like and subscribe. There's going to be a lot more content, a lot more future lifts being put out. So thank you guys all for being a part of the journey as well. Greatly appreciated. So wherever you guys are, have a great day. Thank you for watching, and thank you for all the continued support. It really means a lot.